Today is April 14th, 2026. My name is Misha Shakin. I'm an 8th grade student at Bicultural Hebrew Academy of Connecticut. I'll be interviewing my mom and my grandmother about her life and legacy. This interview is being recorded for the oral history collection for the Jewish Historical Society of Fairfield County's archives as well as our family archives. Over the next 15 minutes or so, I will ask you questions that will help me learn more about you and our family's history, especially our Jewish history. If you can't answer a question, just say so, and we can move on to the next one. Also, if you would rather not answer a question for any reason, just tell me that. I want this to be fun for you and to feel comfortable at all times. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, let's start with you telling me her full name.
Kathy Schwartz.
Who was she named after?
Her fraternal grandmother, Surrey Klein.
Do you have what was her Hebrew name?
Surrey.
In this class, I've been learning about the immigration of Jews to the U.S. and other places. Do you know where her parents were from?
From the Ukraine.
Before they immigrated to the United States, did they talk about what it was like before they left? Do you have any stories? Does she have any stories that she told you about Jewish life there?
So my mother was born in a small village called Mala Dobran. It borders Hungary, and there were only 5 families that were Jewish. What she told me was that during the high holiday, my father would travel to a bigger city, which is called Ungvar, and they had their bigger shuls. So that's where my grandfather would go during big holidays, and their town didn't have any of that since it was just a very small community with only 5 Jewish families.
Did her parents or anyone in our family experience, or were they affected by the Holocaust or pogroms?
Yes, my grandmother was a Holocaust survivor, and she actually survived Bergen-Belsen. That was the camp when she was in Auschwitz.
Okay. Can you tell me anything about our family's immigration to the United States? Who came over and about when?
So my mother left, before my mother left Ukraine, her father passed away in 1973. So they left the country in 1976 with her mother, her brother, and her sister-in-law.
Do you know why they left?
They left for a better opportunity. They couldn't, back in the Ukraine, in Dobran, it was very hard to live life as a Jew, and they lived life as everything was communism. They couldn't practice their religion, and they left for better opportunities and a better life for them and for their future kids.
Could you tell me her journey to America? Like, I heard you talking about how she went to Italy for some time.
So what she told me was that when they left Dobran, they actually had to take a train to go to Moscow. And from Moscow, they caught a flight to Rome. And what they did is they actually had to live there for 4 months before actually coming to the United States. So they came roughly in October 1976.
Did you know where they entered the United States?
Yes, they came to JFK by plane, and they actually first settled in Borough Park, in the shtetl.
Do you know what she felt like it was like?
The way that she described Borough Park, it was very religious. There was a big Hasidic community, and it was a bigger Jewish community.
So she just went from a small Jewish community of 5 families to now a huge town of it. Okay, now going to this picture that she brought over. This is it right here. It's a woman lighting Shabbos candles. Basically, can you tell me about it?
So my grandmother, her mother, her name was Rosalia Mashkowitz, and she knitted this Shabbat candle lighting and made it into a picture frame.
Why is it special to you and our family?
It signifies for us about Shabbat. So it was actually next to her candle lights at her house. And when my grandmother passed away during COVID, my mother thought it would be nice for me to have it so we can carry on the tradition with my own family.
Okay, the next question is, do you know where it came from?
Yes, it came from a Ukraine village, basically where she grew up as a child. Basically, before the war, my grandmother was actually born in Czechoslovakia, in Funchika. And after the wars, during the years where she grew up, it became Hungary. And then later on, the village became Ukraine.
Okay. And do you know how old it is?
What I was told was that my grandmother did this roughly 70, 80 years ago. So she did it, in her early 20s after the Holocaust, a few years later.
Okay. Okay, now I would like to ask you a few questions about what her life growing up was. Where did she grow up and who did she live with?
So my mom grew up in Mala Dobron in Ukraine, in Zakarpattia, and she grew up with her parents and her brother. She was the youngest, and her brother was 4 years older than her.
Do you know something about her life? Like, what was her favorite subject?
She told me that she liked languages, so she loved learning Hungarian, and her favorite subject was also math.
What did she and her childhood friends do for fun?
She mentioned that she worked on the farm. So my grandparents actually lived on a farm. So they had all these animals. My grandfather was basically the own shachar. They didn't have like a butcher shop or any of that. My grandfather did everything. So they had cows, they had horses, they had all these different animals where they lived.
Okay. When she was a teenager, do you know if she had a bar mitzvah?
No, you couldn't practice Judaism. Like everything was done like in secret, and it was just communist. Like they didn't allow it.
Okay. Now I would like you to pick for you in her mind to pick her favorite Jewish holiday and describe how you would think they celebrated it as a child.
So my mother said that her favorite holiday was Hanukkah, and what they did was they lit candles. She got presents, but nothing was shown by the windows. Like you couldn't put your Hanukkah candle by the window. Like everything had to be done in secret, like in the house, and no one would find out.
Now I would like to talk about our family Jewish traditions. My favorite one is when I make Hamitashin for Purim and saying Kiddush. Do you know what hers were?
She said that she liked Passover.
Okay. Did anyone in her family serve in the military?
Yes, her brother went for 2 years. My mom mentioned that my uncle was serving the Russian army.
How did she and Zadie Misha meet?
So my my parents were set up on a date, and they met at a kosher pizza store in Borough Park on 13th Avenue called Amnon's Pizzeria.
What did she do to make a living in her adult life?
So when she came to America, she worked at a jewelry store, and when she met my father, she worked up until her delivery date, and she raised my sister and I.
Okay. What invention do you think that had the biggest impact on her life? Why do you think she would choose this invention?
So my mother grew up on a farm, and they didn't have real bathrooms. So basically their bathroom was outside their house. They had like a little hut outside. So she told me that coming to America, or just like leaving Ukraine, she really appreciated real toilets. So for America, this was her biggest achievement that she thought with the inventions. Because in Ukraine, where she lived, there weren't any real toilets.
Now we are going to wrap it up with one more question. What advice would she give you that you'd give to me for future generations?
She told me that she's happy that her kids and her now grandkids live in America, and where they're able to live a better Jewish life from generation to generation.
Thank you, Mom, for helping me interview.